So, this question is about overthinking, and what is it? It's actually a trauma response. So, overthinking is an attempt to solve a problem in an ineffective way. So, and if we tend to have success or a lot of praise in a particular arena, meaning maybe we've been praised for our intelligence or our thinking, our cognition, at certain points in our life, it becomes a compensatory strategy that we use, that we lean heavily on, that we leverage because we're trying to solve problems. And so, of course, it's an adaptive. Strategy that becomes maladaptive, of course, because we never solve a problem by overthinking it. And so the irony in the overthinking is really not that wise. There might be, you might be smart, but it's not really wise to overthink. And so it really comes from that, right? The way in which we felt powerful because of our intellect. And it's a compensatory strategy that's trying to solve a problem, but it's just doing it in a very ineffective, unwise way. And so, really, it's identifying, okay, if I'm ruminating, if I am becoming compulsive about my thought, if I've gone too far down a path and I'm really not finding a solution, if it's not effective, if it's not helpful even to the person that I'm talking to, right? If I'm trying to solve your problem by giving you answers, then I'm overthinking it rather than just being present with what is. And so it's identifying that it's a problem in the first place, because awareness is always the first step to change. And so we have to know that our thinking is not necessarily a solution, that it's actually maladaptive, that it's interfering with the solution. And so then it's, where do you put your attention? And if I keep trying to think to solve the problem, what I probably really need to do is drop in and be present and feel, right? I need to identify another pathway, because this pathway of thinking, of rumination, is probably amplifying the problem. It's making me more worried, or it's making the problem worse, or it's creating more tension between me and whomever it is that I'm offering solutions to from my thinking. And so it's really identifying, though, if it's just an interpersonal challenge, it's really identifying, hey, I'm doing this thing, I'm thinking too much about it, and it's just now spiraling, right? It's snowballing into this major loop. And so really we need to spiral back down. And we can literally imagine that physiologically, right? It's like our thinking happens up here and it spirals up and up and up, and it can just spin out of control. And if I come back down the spiral, and really that's what life is about, life is a spiral. And so if I can come back down the spiral into my body, if I can be present with what I'm feeling, if I can recognize that the solutions that I'm coming up with in my mind are not productive, then I can identify new pathways. I can say, okay, well, what might be useful here? And if I can't get that metacognition within myself, if I can't observe myself in that and reroute myself, then I may need support and help doing that. And you can come and enjoy the work doing that in lots of places like Consciousness Collective, or finding a therapist, or any place, right, that would resonate with you. But it's really then sitting and being with what is. And if there is a problem to solve, it's probably one lower down on the spiral. It's probably presencing, and we need to be able to identify new pathways. We need to remove the obstacles. We need to remove and do much less thinking, and notice if I'm compounding by doing that. And so if I'm compounding, I really need to find more effective strategies to move through that. I need to feel something. I need to understand. I need to regulate my nervous system so I can get curious, so I can find new pathways. None of that, I cannot get perspective if I get too spiraled up. I will just be stuck in my perception and anchoring in the beliefs I already have. And if you do what you did, you'll get what you got. So if I keep thinking the same thoughts, if I keep maintaining the same beliefs, if I'm not expanding my consciousness or my perspective, then I'm really just going to end up repeating habitually the same cycles that I've been in again and again and again. I'm going to have the same fight. I'm going to feel the same anxiety. I'm going to feel the same fear. I'm going to amplify my beliefs. I'm going to be unproductive in the world. I'm going to be chaotic to be around. And so it's really my responsibility to identify that this pathway that I've spiraled into is not effective, and I need to come and find new pathways. So, how do I open that up so I can start to see choices and possibilities? And that's when you know you've really shifted something. Is instead of being locked in to my perception that's very narrow, it's very rigid, it's very fixed. When we spiral up, that's what we're doing, is we're just anchoring in the belief that we already have. We're anchoring in the experiences we've already experienced. And healing really starts to allow you to see that I can listen to somebody else's offering. I can hold their perspective and mine at the same time. That's emotional intelligence. That's this emotional quotient that's so important. But also, can I do that within myself? Can I start to see, oh, well, that could be a possibility too. And oh, well, if I went that way, this is what that might look like. Or I could try this, or I'd be open to that. And when I start identifying choice, when I start identifying a multitude of solutions, now I notice that I'm regulated. Now that I notice that my perspective is actually higher. Now that I notice I'm more wise and more conscious. And so that clue alone, the fact that there are different pathways that are open when there was just one, even if I can have two, the more the better, then I know that I am in the world in a receptive way. Then I know that I'm regulated, not dysregulated. Then I know that I'm conscious and not spiraling. Then I know that I am wise and not overthinking. And I would rather be that, right? Wise rather than smart.